now it's filming. Thank God I was here to ensure. We need to... It's funny, so whenever it comes up on YouTube now, my boys are like, oh, let's watch it. And things, and it's like, welcome everybody, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm doing a whole bunch of talking, and I forget any of the jokes that I would have put in the show. But I'm like, I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch me.
And then you start laughing at your stupid shit.
I laugh. I have laughed once or twice at jokes that I made, or jokes that you made, mostly me, because I'm hilarious.
Welcome to episode 214 of WatchingComplain.com. Today on the show, we are going to talk about the Creator.
The Koreanator? The guy that created Korea.
Yeah.
The Koreanator. Kim Jong-un as a robot.
He's a creationist. I don't know. I have no jokes today, Rob. I'm hurting.
I hear that.
My back is sore.
Tell our audience what you did to make your back sore.
Well, back when I worked at Dollarama, I picked up a pallet, like one of those heavy pallets, and I picked it up like this, and I moved. Oh, that hurt. See, I twisted my back, and something happened. Either the muscle pulled or something in my spine. I don't know yet because I have never gotten it looked at.
You could just say you're old, because that's part of being old, that things just hurt all the time.
Yeah.
My son woke up the other day, and he's like, man, my back hurts. And he was like worried. He's like, my back never hurts. I'm like, yeah, wait till you're old, man. He said, everything just hurts all the time. You just get used to it.
It's
like,
part
whatever.
of puberty, muscle pains, muscle.
There was one muscle I kept on pulling when I was a teenager.
No, I don't want to think about that with young Rob. Ugh.
Yeah, I was gross. I was all fucking pimply and greasy and. Ugh.
Today on the show, we're talking about the Creator. We went and saw it in the theater.
Creator. Yep.
In the theater.
I've been Creator in the theater. I've been thinking about this movie because we were supposed to do it last week, and Wednesday you were feeling poor, and then the next day I still have a little tiny bit of a really bad cold, so we didn't record last week, so we're going to record this week. And I've been thinking about the movie the whole time, and for me, whenever I'm thinking about a movie, that's always a good indication that
it was bad.
There's at least something good about it because it made me think of it. Like, and thinking of it in like what I liked about it, what I would change about it, where I think they could go with it. And one of the things I realized that I like about it a lot, and it made the movie grew on me. I already gave the movie pretty high marks. It's not fantastic. It's got flaws, but one thing I really, really liked about it was there's no spin-off TV show. There's no fucking backstory I need to know. I don't need to remember this character's movie and this character's movie entirely. It was just a complete, like singular movie. It was just a movie that all the information I needed was all inside of this one fucking movie, and that was all.
Yeah.
Because I am growing more and more sick of, and I'm already pretty sick of them, but of like all the shit with the Marvels or Marvel, however you're supposed to say
Star Wars.
The Blue Beetle shit.
F Star Wars.
The even with Ahsoka, and I've got my issues with Ahsoka that we'll talk about in a bit.
Not in a bit, because I still haven't watched it.
I will say, I'll spoil everything. I'll tell them that Darth Vader comes into it, and Darth Vader kills
eats a
Watto.
Slim Jim.
Yeah, he kills Macho Man. Macho Man becomes a Sith. But it was just nice and refreshing to watch something that you didn't have to have this fucking huge backstory of knowing from a channel all the shit that you should know about it. It was refreshing to not have to see that. Yeah, that and it was intelligent. It was an intelligent movie. It had its flaws, like I said, here and there, but it was an intelligent idea, and I like that about it. It wasn't the Marvels, which is bad person invade, heroes need save, heroes get sad, heroes band together, heroes defeat bad person. Like that, you already know is the fucking is the entire plot of the Marvels movie. It's been the entire Loki. I imagine they've got to reset something. Jonathan Majors might be there at the end. Nothing has occurred.
It has early bad reviews.
Nothing is going to happen in it that can't be explained away by that's what do they call it now? A different timeline. Like, fuck, man. Way to take all of the tension out of a show or out of a storyline. But I'm not talking about that because it sucks. But the Creator, I really like that. It felt like it was really intelligent.
But it fell apart, especially in its intelligence.
Yeah.
Near the end.
Near the end. Yeah. And that's what I mean. It does have its flaws, but the idea to it that we used AI became fantastic. Then AI, I didn't like what they did with where this went, the bomb that AI set off in the middle of New York and killed like 10 million people or something. And then the U.S. has outlawed AI, and then they're going around the world basically destroying it, even when other countries are okay with it.
Yeah.
Even
in those countries that are okay with it.
Yeah. And that's right. There's a lot there.
Weird.
There's a lot there
To unpack
and to put into a story. And that is where I was, man, this is great. When they do that whole part of the starting where they're describing how it's all going, I was like, I really like this. I'm really on board for where this goes. And I like the idea of Narmida or Namrita, whatever the thing was called that they're looking after, the god in the machine, effectively. I really like that whole thing. I enjoyed Nirmata. I really enjoyed the majority of it until the ending. The last act of the movie is where it really starts to this is a problem. I don't like this.
It's weird. It's like, oh, we have this cool action shot. How do we make it happen? Oh, we have to do something with the big ship.
Yeah, and that's what it felt like. But then a lot of the logic that they had already established, like you feel like this is being made by some really smart people. And then at the end, where it's like, well, we've got to have a big, cool action scene where the U.S. What was it? The big ship called? The Nimrod? The Namrod? What was it called?
You're thinking of Nirmata, but
no.
The big ship is called You're right, the Nimrod. No, I'm kidding. The Nomad.
Nomad. So there's the Nimrod up in the sky, and we'll get to it. But yeah, some parts on the Nimrod didn't make sense. Phil's going to. So check this out, people. Phil copied the information from Wikipedia because he's a plagiarist, and he put it into a Google Doc, and he made it bigger because that's what's going to help him read it better.
I wonder if this... Oh, it does. Zooms in. In 2055, and first of all...
You've already fucked up reading it.
No, just don't watch this and then go watch the movie. Like, that's stupid. Go watch the movie and then come back to us one day.
Probably never.
You just
like our kids, leave and
you
never
just have to
back.
remember watchingcomplain.com.
One things we were talking about in the other podcast, we were talking about how the name of the podcast showed up. And I was like, me and you went through like a bunch of different names. We were back and forth. And I believe this is how it happened, but I might be wrong. Either one of us, I have a sneaking suspicion it was probably you, said, what are we going to call it? All we ever do is like watch and complain. And I'm like, one of us said, that's the fucking name. That's the title right there. And that's how you know our name was genius.
Netflix Weekly. Or what was the first one?
That's what I was
Because movies.
Because movies. That's what I could not fucking remember what the first one was.
It was the answer to why.
Why are we doing this?
Why? Because movies.
And then we were Netflix Weekly because someone only wanted to watch Netflix.
I thought it was a cool thing to go to, and then Netflix bombed heavily. With everything they did.
With the Nimrod.
Except for the 1 or 2 out of 1,000.
I recently watched a show on Netflix, a document.
Please tell me you didn't watch the Jewel one, did you?
I don't know what
That's what we're doing this coming week.
I don't know what Jewel is. What's Jewel?
The vape pen story.
Oh, God, no. But you know what? I feel like Netflix, I know they still make TV shows, but I feel like the majority of Netflix, like their real bread and butter is the documentaries.
Oh, yeah, they do amazing documentaries. Whoever does it.
Yeah, there was a documentary I was just watching, and I can't remember it, but it was good.
Okay, it was great. You can pretty much just go with any of the documentaries and then you'd be fine. So let me just explain that we are going to spoil the plot. We are going to talk about it, and you are going to sit there and press like or subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
And enjoy everything you watch.
You don't have to. Don't let Phil boss you around. He's much smaller than he used to be, and he's much weaker than he used to be.
But
what about your butt?
I'm still just as annoying.
You'll
says
follow
my
people
wife.
around. Oh, my wife always says I'm annoying.
In 2055, an artificial intelligence created by the U.S. government detonates a nuclear warhead over Los Angeles, California.
This is one thing that I don't know about about you, but I feel like they need to start saying stuff like this is from like 2099. Because I feel like when you say 2055,
That's like tomorrow.
yeah, it feels like it's so close to right now that we're not going to have this by 2055.
Look at electric cars. We should have had everyone have an electric car at this point,
Right?
but they've been held up by the government, and
We were supposed to have fucking flying cars, man. Where's my flying car?
that's going to be
But-
like hundreds of years in the future.
That's what I mean. The point is, but see, I think the problem is if you say 2099, the majority of people will be like, "I'll be dead by then." You
Yeah.
know what I mean? There's no chance.
We
we'll
don't
still be
care.
alive. But they need to, when they're going to do shit like this, they need to push it farther into the future. But you know what it really is? I think that nobody can come down, can figure out, like Star Trek did it, but maybe because people are like, Star Trek. But nobody wants to say the word, or the year 3000, or 20, not 3000, but 20, 2162 or 2162 or something like that. You know what I mean?
It gets lost because I'm playing Starfield right now, which is a new game by
Isn't that the game that's just like
Fallout.
Edge Case? That's right. Sorry, Fallout.
Edge case.
I don't know what the fuck it's called.
But their history that they go through, the storyline is like in 2019, in 2022, in 2000. It just all goes together and no one cares. It's just say, okay,
In the
we
future.
had this problem, and then this problem, and then this problem, and then this problem happened, and then this problem happened. Okay, you're a character.
I would just these movies that are about the future that have no technology that we've got right now, push it out a bit further. That's all I'm saying.
What does it matter if there's a time at all?
Yeah, just say in the future.
In the future, yeah. In response, the U.S. and its Western allies pledged to eradicate AI from the Earth in order to prevent humanity's extinction.
I guarantee that fucking Canada followed suit. We're such cowards.
And whatever the U.S. does.
We're such chickens.
I want to comment on the current political climate with the certain war that's going on right now.
Oh yeah.
But I'm going to get in trouble.
Which war? The argument with India that we're having?
Israel and
Israel and Palestine. Yeah.
yeah. I just want to remind people that Palestine and Hamas are two separate things, and research
Yep.
will get you far.
It's true.
So don't immediately say Palestine deserves everything they get.
Yep.
That's all I'll say.
I thought we were going to talk about India. Right now, Canada has a bit of a tiff going with India.
Just like they had with China.
Well, where an Indian, and I wish I knew more about
Ambassador.
it. Ambassador got killed over here, and they thought they're pretty sure that he was killed by the Indian government.
If Trudeau comes out and says straight up, this is India's doing, I guarantee you he has enough information without saying it that he's 100% certain that someone in the government set this up. Like there's no we think that happened, so fuck you guys.
Yeah, I don't know. Trudeau's too gutless to do something like that, but it'll be interesting to see where this goes because I've been hearing this on the back burner. And again, the reason it's exciting is we finally have something exciting happening in our politics. Like we
It was
never
China right beforehand.
we never have exciting things in our politics. America has the whole MAGA movement and how they're basically trying to burn down America, and all we get in
we had
Canada.
truckers.
We had the truck, but what happened with that?
Nothing.
I mean, I remember in my backyard, they went by, so I went out and stood out in my porch in the backyard and just gave them all the finger. It was like, hunk, 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 as they were going by. I was like, fuck this.
They weren't doing anything.
I should have
here.
thrown fucking Molotov cocktails at them.
Their efforts are resisted by New Asia, a region in Southeast Asia. I wonder if they're going to play this in China, whose people continue to...
And I think they'll be able to because the only thing that the China government doesn't allow in movies is like ghosts and stuff. And this didn't have any ghosts.
I feel that Southeast Asia in this movie are the protagonists.
And they're kind of looked at as the good guys.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'll have a problem playing in China.
A region in Southeast Asia whose people continue to embrace AI despite outcry from the West. The U.S. military launches an extensive military campaign against AI seeking to assassinate Nirmata, the mysterious chief architect behind New Asia's AI advancements. The USS Nomad, North American Orbital Mobile Aerospace Defense.
Nimrod.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
I like calling it Nimrod.
That's the acronym. It is developed as an advanced space station capable of launching destructive attacks from orbit.
Now, I'm going to say what everybody is already saying because it is true. I don't like to jump on well, that's not true. Some bandwagons I jump right onto. I like Gareth Edwards a lot.
Lots of women on that bandwagon.
Of course there are with monster tits.
Yeah, that's your
But
dream.
that's how usually the bandwagon is like tipping over the front because they're all
Pamela Anderson in her prime.
No, I'm not a blonde
Okay,
guy.
well, you do like Elvira, or
Yeah, Cassandra Peterson.
she wasn't blonde, was she?
She's actually a redhead, but she wears a black wig.
The more you know.
Yep. I'm like Angela. She's a porn star. Angela White, Betty Page.
Betty White.
Betty White. Exactly.
Betty Page is a good,
Oh, Betty
good
Page was
choice.
gorgeous. And you know what? What's great
She doesn't have monster tits. She has a good side.
But for me, with Betty Page, it was all about how she was like, you can, within the safety of your own home, and as long as the other people that you're doing it with are having fun, do whatever you want, man. And if I can be a kind of a poster girl for this kind of stuff that people like to do, sure.
She was before her time.
She was great. But she went on later on in her life, I believe she had some issues with some of the photos she took, which is a bummer. But Betty Page was gorgeous. She was just, the ultimate pinup doll. Regardless, my point was there are some bandwagons I jump on, and I really like Gareth Edwards. I really enjoyed Rogue One. I know some people like to give Rogue One a lot of shit. I don't know why. It's got its flaws just like this, but Rogue One, of all of the outside of the mythology Star Wars movies, Rogue One is the best one so far. Solo is okay. The TV shows have been okay. Mandalorian standing up at the top as really the best one so far. But of the movies outside of the mythology, Rogue One has been the best.
Yeah, it's good.
And a lot of people were saying this is a Star Wars ripoff. Parts of it really do feel like a Star Wars ripoff,
Yeah.
but it's almost like one of those things like, can you make a movie with a massive space station or massive flying device, like massive spacecraft effectively, without it feeling like Star Wars? Like a little bit of it was Star Wars.
I would say it was Star Wars meets Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
And I was going to say another one, but I forgot.
A little bit of the Avengers with the helicarrier type of thing, but mostly, yeah. I totally agree that it had some of a Star Wars vibe.
Minority Report. A little bit of
How
that.
the fuck did it feel like Minority? There's no space travel in Minority
Just
Report.
the feel of the movie, like how it was shot and everything.
No, I really liked the vibe of it. It was very grounded, and the AI, all the shots with the AI, especially the robots, none of it felt super CG. It felt like it all fucking flowed really well.
It felt like it was there.
Yep.
A decade after the destruction of Los Angeles, U.S. Army Sergeant Joshua Taylor is embedded as an undercover operative in New Asia and is married to Maya, who the military believes to be the daughter of Nirmata. When U.S. forces attack their home, exposing to Maya that Joshua is a covert agent seeking to use Maya to find Nirmata, a pregnant Maya runs away but is apparently killed in a subsequent nomad strike.
Wow, I think the larger text is actually helping a lot.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep the spit out of my mouth too.
I tell Karen, just let that spit run out of your mouth.
So she does while she's cooking. It's just
She just drools all
it's
over
an
the
issue.
place.
Anything to add to that? She gets blown up.
Well,
not your wife.
You know she's not blown up, but they give you the impression she got blown up.
I don't know. I'm just watching the movie. Harold,
Where's my chair?
there's 26 empty ones. Just pick one.
I don't get that. Like, in all honesty, if you're at a theater, even if you're at like a fucking baseball game or sports game,
Well, that's more so, but go on.
but if there's a whole bunch of empty fucking chairs around you, just sit anywhere. Who gives a fuck if you're not in your assigned seat?
I will say in an arena environment like one I possibly do work in, we don't care.
Yeah.
Like, just sit where.
Unless you're
but a
taking
movie is
somebody
different.
else's seat.
Yeah.
That's the only time it fucking matters.
A movie is different because it's a big, huge faux pas, like a social faux pas. If I come into the theater and you're sitting in my spot, I'm like offended because like, why are you in my
I'd be
spot?
like, oh,
I
sorry.
bought this
I'd
spot.
fucking move.
But in an arena environment, you kind of expect that to happen. You're just like, you go to your seat, like, oh shit, there's people in my seat. Get out of my seat. Okay, sorry.
See, I'd feel it's more of an offense at a sports game, especially people that get drinking and belligerent and shitty, or at a wrestling event where someone's there and their favorite budgie smugglers of their favorite wrestler.
John Cena. I would say only if the events are sold out.
Okay.
But if they're
That's
like
fair.
completely empty, like certain sporting events, then go sit wherever you want. We don't care.
I got something in my eye. That's not my eyeball.
And very little do I ever get to see a confrontation that gets out of hand about a seat. Usually it's like, oh, these people are in my seat. Oh, check with those people. Oh, you're in the wrong section. You're over there. Oh, sorry, my mistake. And then they move. Easy done.
Well, I'm going to go to a sporting event at this location you don't work at, and I'm going to sit wherever I want.
The
And someone's gonna
promenade.
come and be there, and I'm going to be, hey, I'll sit where I want.
You'll just look for me and then go sit in my section.
Phil said that I could sit wherever I want.
And they'll be like, okay, sure.
Phil, you're fired.
Again? 5 years later, Joshua works as a part. My first
I knew you'd
issue.
fuck it up.
5 years later,
And I
Joshua
wasn't even looking because I was rubbing my eyes.
Joshua works as part of the Ground Zero cleanup crew in Los Angeles. He is approached by General Andrews and Colonel Howell, recruiting him on a mission aimed at locating and destroying a new weapon engineered by Nirvana. Alpha O, believed to be capable of destroying the Nomad platform and thus shifting the balance of the war in favor of AI.
Luckily, they only said Alpha O like twice because every time
Yeah.
the lady General, what was the general's name?
Howell?
Was it Howell? No, Andrews.
Oh, okay.
Whenever Andrews said Alpha O, I wanted to start like thinking of fucking cereal for robots. Alpha O's.
Eat them now. Crunchy.
1 0 1 0.
They're
That's
all
they
one
are.
zeros. That's great. Marshmallow circuit boards. To recruit him, they play a video showing Maya alive and suggest he might find and reunite with her if he joins the team.
And it was bullshit. They were lying.
She's dead.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, she's dead.
That's the end. In New Asia, separated from the rest of the strike team, Joshua manages to enter the compound believed to hold. That's weird. Believed to hold the weapon, but discovers only a robotic simulant in the form of a young child.
I did like too.
This movie would be awfully different if it was like a sexy sex bot,
That'd have been all right.
which is revealed later on in the movie.
Yeah, is that they're using the little boy as a little sex bot.
No,
Oh,
no.
it was a girl. I thought it was a boy.
No,
because it had no hair.
The
girl was-
woman later on that his friend owns
I don't remember.
in the shop that they go to that fixes AI or robots.
Oh, right. Yep.
It'll come up. Young child.
I thought it was a little boy because
Yeah,
the
me
hair
too.
is shaved off very low, but it was a little girl.
But I think that's the point to throw you off.
Yeah, I really like the look of the robots with that kind of circular head. That was so cool looking. Really liked that.
And the metal
The
or
way the gears and shit would move.
and it grows as time goes on the newer robot.
Yeah.
The one that
The girl.
Alfie.
What do they call it? Alfie. Yeah.
It is revealed that the girl has the ability to remotely control technology. Dubbing her Alfie, Joshua disobeys Howell's orders to kill the simulant, and with Alfie heads to the provincial capital to find Drew, Joshua's former commanding officer.
Now this is where it started. You're like, okay, this is gonna go. This is gonna go one way or another, and I hope it's a good way. Where you know that Alpha just put her hands together and she can like shut everything down. You're like, this has the possibility of being really, really cool. Like one of those scenes where she could just be like walking up a street and all these fucking robots are coming out to try to take it down or whatever. And she just puts her hands on, and just shuts everything down. A real kind of
11
Christ-like
from Stranger Things.
Yeah, whatever, Stranger Things. But a real kind of Christ-like ideology where she was like, everything falls in front of her and the robots kind of bow in front of her and everything. And they never go to that extreme.
No, not at all.
And then one thing she does do with it is really dumb later on, but we'll get to it when we get to it. But I was like, oh man, this is going to be great if they use it like this. And they never do. And I was kind of bummed out that they never used it like that.
Yeah, and they choose not to use the power when they should.
When they should.
When obviously should.
Yep.
Examining Alfie, Drew tells Joshua she is capable of becoming the most powerful weapon on the planet as her abilities to control technology will grow exponentially.
I don't understand how we can determine that, but I understand it's a plot
Smart.
that's got to go. But I was like, that's like saying, oh my God, your kid is going to grow up to be the most brilliant doctor ever. Like, have you seen my fucking kids? I'd be amazed if my kids could find their way out of our backyard. Like, no, I don't expect them to grow to be genius fucking doctors.
But now you have
They might.
AI can in the moment examine all the particular parts of this child and then go, oh yeah, that's the second coming of Christ in robot form.
Sure. We all know who the second coming of Christ in robot form was. It was RoboCop.
Johnny number 5.
Johnny 5.
I loved that movie growing up.
I wish they. So the original idea was to make it a horror movie, right? It was supposed to be like an action horror movie. Johnny 5 was supposed to have this evil battle bot, and then they made a comedy and blah blah blah. But I love the idea.
They made a few comedies.
I love the idea of Johnny 5 as an evil battle bot. I think that would have been a lot of fun. That's a movie. Have they remade Short Circuit and anything else?
No, they've never remade it. I think they released an UHD version. I think. Don't quote me on that. But if you want to check that out, it's Short Circuit and Short Circuit 2 and Short Circuit 3.
I never. There's a Short Circuit 3.
I'm sure they're like up to 5.
Really?
I
remember
wouldn't be
Short Circuit
surprised.
1 and Short Circuit 2, and the part of Short Circuit 2 that I like
I could
is
be
when he's
completely
talking
wrong.
to. I'm pretty sure there's only 2, but when he's talking to Michael McKean's character and his name's Fred, after Johnny 5 gets all fucked up and fried and some shit, he keeps on calling him Durf. And he's like, Fred. He goes, that's what I said, Durf. And when I saw that as a kid, I thought it was hilarious that he called him Durf.
Okay, Google, how many Short Circuit movies are there?
I told you. I'm the expert.
You're the movie expert. Thank you, Google.
Also, I like how your hardware didn't answer it, but my hardware is always listening.
I like it said it was listening on here, then went to yours,
mine
probably
was like-
because it's on the same Wi-Fi.
Yeah. I like, so.
Should put one in here, and then we can ask questions all the time.
I think I have a spare one too. That we
Let's
can
put
do
it,
with.
yeah,
I won't.
put it up somewhere.
But so my son this
Be our
morning,
third host.
we're watching, just have an AI that fucking reads it all.
Be better than me.
That we were watching a video and it says with that fucking stupid TikTok voice. I hate that TikTok girl voice. That says
She exists.
thoughts that will make you think crazy today. Alexa only responds when you say "Hey Alexa," but how does she know that you said "Hey Alexa"? And Elliot's like,
Oh,
like it just blew his mind. I'm like, well, they're always listening. And he's like, really? I'm like, yes, they're always on. They're always listening to everything you always say.
I love how Xbox got in trouble with the Connect.
And now everyone's, oh yeah, that's how it is.
Now no one cares.
No one
But
gives it- but there are some people that take it super serious. You know what I mean? I know a
5G.
guy, yeah, who's like, oh, I got rid of them all. I don't want anything to listen to me. I'm like, do you have a phone? Yeah, your phone is listening to you all the time.
Yeah, they just don't understand the technology behind it.
Well, I think they kind of pick and choose what they want
Yeah.
to listen to them. But it's like, hey, if I have one device that listens to me that puts me on a massive global network, or 10 devices that listen to you and put you on a global network, it's still
same.
a device that, yeah, it's still the same thing. It's still a device that's putting you on a global network. I could care less if Google wants to listen to me. There's nothing interesting that I'm doing in my life that they would be like, oh my God, we're going to send the cops to this guy's house. He's got too many Star Wars toys.
People need to understand it's like a DVR. It's just they have a buffer, and when the right word is used, they go back and listen to that thing real quick and put it out there. Put the answer out there.
My favorite story about that, and it's disgusting, so feel free to go through this, but someone on social media was sharing that she knew that her Alexa across her bedroom was listening to her when she started seeing ads for diapers and like baby products coming up on her phone, and she realized it's because whenever her and her boyfriend were in the act of coitus, she would yell at her boyfriend, "Come in me, come in me." And then Alexa started giving her ads for like baby things. That's funny. You don't think it's funny. I thought it was hysterical.
I wonder how many people, and we're getting so off. I wonder how many people
She's the creator now.
freak out about like these ads showing up who don't remember that they searched for diapers by accident or whatever, clicked on something.
We're talking about something and it'll start showing up. Yeah. So it's obvious they're listening, but that doesn't bother me. I don't give a fuck because I'll be like, oh yeah, this thing I wanted to watch. So that's why I'm constantly saying big-titted women, and it just shows up.
Rob really likes red canoes. Red canoes are so cool because they float, and you can see them as a red canoe. Rob really wants ads about red canoes so he can buy a red canoe from somewhere, but he doesn't know where.
It's going to come up on yours because it recognizes your voice.
Watch it be on my Facebook next. It backfires. New Asian police attack Drew's apartment, killing his simulant girlfriend Cammie, who's a sex bot.
She was a sex bot.
Totally
too.
A sex bot.
They played that down, but you're like, yeah, I know what you're doing with that.
Yep. I was like, who owns who here? She's not free. As Howell and squad member McBride close in. With Drew's help, Joshua locates Maya's beacon, but does not find her.
Bummer.
And the group once again comes under attack.
This is where it started getting a little... They escape a little bit. The army shows up, firefight. They escape. Army shows up, firefight. Like, it started getting a little... Come on, guys, let's do something
Fill
different.
in the blanks.
Yeah, a little kind of get to A to B to C to D.
This scene was definitely a fill in the blanks. It wasn't like initially there or anything. It was just like, we got to pad some time. Before Drew dies, he tells Joshua that the raid 5 years earlier had happened because the army had intelligence that Maya was Nirmata. Joshua and Alfie are captured by new Asian forces led by Harun. Harun?
I think Harun, yeah. That was the guy that was Ken Watanabe.
A simulant soldier and former ally of Joshua's, and are brought to their village. Harun states that the tragedy in Los Angeles was caused by a human coding error.
That I didn't like.
I like that.
I didn't like that.
They need something to blame.
I wanted the idea that the AI in other countries learned from the mistake of the AI in the U.S. So you can understand why the U.S. harbors such a hatred for them.
They can still do that if the U.S. is saying this happened. Then other AI would be like, okay, this happened, so we have to learn from that. But if it didn't happen, it's still the same thing.
But it was basically a lie. The U.S. had said it was, or the U.S. believes it, but the AI knew it wasn't.
But if you say, oh, I broke my leg slipping on a frozen puddle outside in the driveway, well, I can learn from that. And even though if it's a lie, I still avoid the puddle now.
Right. But what I mean is the AI would learn, like, we killed a whole bunch of people. We shouldn't have. We've learned from that mistake and we will never make it again. That way it's kind of...
You just mean AI in general.
No, the AI that are in New Asia, right? So the AI in New Asia saw the mistake that the AI in the U.S. made, and they said, we'll never do that. It's almost like, think of Aliens with Bishop, right? Bishop was like the older version in Holmes' character in Alien. Those older versions always were a bit twitchy. It's impossible for me to ever hurt a human being, right? And Ripley has to learn to trust Bishop. It would be cool to have that sort of relationship here too, where what's his name? Nerman? Muran? What was Huron? Harun, sorry. It would have been cool if Harun was like, we realized that the AI in the U.S. made a mistake, or they were on like a fucking rogue code or something, where they could learn from it, and we would never make that sort of mistake. And that's what we've tried to show the people in New Asia, that we will never harm them in any capacity like that. We have, just like you, the ability to learn, but some of us can go wrong, right? I kind of like that. I think that's more of a kind of a better message, it's more interesting to watch an AI that has the capacity to turn evil not doing it, Just my 2 cents.
I liked it in terms of the government is hiding the fact that they did it. They have to do that.
Are they hiding it though, or did the U.S. government think that, like, they think it was the AI? It was only like the AI that knew that it was a coding error. You know what I mean?
I don't think that's ever really.
It's not explored. That's what I mean. That's why there was so much potential there. It's like
maybe they do
just
say, but
away.
I didn't catch it.
I get the feeling that maybe this is something that would be, if there was a sequel, that's maybe some of the stuff that they would go over. But I don't
or
think
a prequel. Let's go back to that time.
All right, you keep reading. I'm going to blow my nose. I'm going to disappear for a second, everybody.
I'll just pause.
No, don't pause it.
I just paused it.
I can just yell from the back.
I paused it.
No.
Okay.
I just appeared back.
Yay. I was hoping you wouldn't.
In my
You
own
can't
house?
do that after. I guess you could.
Hear it in stereo.
Yeah.
He lost his place with such big text.
Blaming Maya, who only wished to peacefully coexist with humanity. Maya became the second Nirmata after her father's death. After escaping his captors, Joshua rescues Alfie and prepares to flee as Howell leads an attack on the village.
And then we have another big action set piece.
The big one.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another big one later, but
there were some cool parts to this. The one part that I thought was really good was when Alfie goes out and there's that huge. I love those bomb robots.
Yeah,
right.
That was really cool. That was really very Star Wars.
Yeah. That goes out and she kind of stops him and then he just kind of powers down and then he powers back up again afterwards. But I thought that was really cool. But I like the idea of like a whole slew of AI soldiers coming at her, and she just kind of put her hands together, and they all kind of drop to their knees and fall in front of her. I really like that kind of visual, and I wish they had done more like that, but they didn't.
Alfie intervenes with her abilities, but is gravely wounded by McBride. She is rushed to Nirmata, whom Joshua learns has been in a coma since the strike on her home.
Were you crying? Were you getting tearful?
Yeah, tended to by simulant monks.
One thing I did like too that they didn't discuss in here was oh God, I already forgot her name.
Was it the head thing?
No.
Okay, we can go into that
the
soon.
general, the lady that's I think Williams, that's leading everything. Her reasoning for hating AI makes perfect fucking sense. They killed both of her sons, and they put her sons through torture, trying to figure out different ways to torture them, that they put them through hell. So she's got a reason for hating AI.
No matter what.
Yeah, and I really like that it wasn't some fucking stupid Avatar bad guy who's like, I'm an army guy, so I just don't like him. I'm the army. I fucking hated that guy. I hated that guy in Avatar. Yeah. And
I hated Avatar, just completely.
I didn't hate Avatar, because like I said, I want to throw some love to Jim Cameron. He's given me some of the best movies I've ever seen. But the two Avatar movies are definitely low on the movies of his that I enjoy. They're just not good fucking movies. And that bad guy, in the second one especially, they just bring back the bad guy from the first movie.
Which is so dumb.
Right? I was like, fuck, this guy sucks. Because he's so fucking, he's like a cartoon cutout.
It's Jim Cameron, right? James Cameron?
James Cameron.
Yeah. Same thing. But
I know it's the same thing.
He's like, oh, tech. It was going to have the best tech and the water bubbles and tech. Okay, great. But
story sucks.
You just bring back the same story again and again.
Yep.
The original one was Pocahontas or something like it.
Yep. Or it Dances with Wolves.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, whatever. I was in that movie. I was just like,
The second one looks really nice. I'll give it that.
Oh, it looks great.
But yeah, from a story standpoint, I was like, man, I don't give a fuck about what's going on.
Because simulants cannot harm Nirmata, she is. I wanted to bring up the fact that it kind of glazed grazed over it or didn't even talk
Glazed.
about it. They
Not grazed. It would be glazed. Grazed is what cows do to grass.
okay. They killed this AI guy and then took the chip.
Oh yeah.
They like scanned the brain of someone who died on the team, and then put it onto this chip to put into an AI, and copied it over to their AI brain.
Yep.
And then they wake up after dying, which is crazy. And so this guy wakes up and goes, "Oh my God!" And they have to go through the fact that they just died while trying to get information from this person.
Eventually looks at it like I'm a fucking robot.
So I wanted to bring that up because it has a huge impact later in the movie.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, it's funny they didn't even fucking mention that with how important it is.
yeah, she is stranded and unable to die. It is also revealed that because simulants cannot harm Nirmata, she is stranded and unable to die. It is also revealed that Alfie was based on Joshua and Maya's unborn daughter, who had been scanned in utero.
Yeah, this felt kind of stupid, to be honest. But I got why it had to be there, but it felt kind of dumb.
I liked it. I didn't. I think in the moment I missed it.
Really?
Because it's one of those things where you watch the movie
It shows a whole
again.
shot of Maya working on like an embryo.
Yeah,
What are you doing? Falling asleep?
maybe
There was like one or
this
two parts
movie,
where I was starting to doze off.
there was this. They explain shit, and
Yeah.
then you're like, go to the next thing, please. Joshua takes Maya off life support, so they didn't even say one of the robots that
Oh,
explained.
he said it.
Oh,
He was
okay.
like, why didn't you kill her? He's like, we can't kill her. We can't kill the maker. We can't end the life.
Was that in this? No,
No.
that's what I'm saying.
Maybe with your big fucking wording, you cut it out.
I have to have the big wording because I have these giant paws.
Bear
Everything
paws.
on me is giant.
Especially your hair.
I wish. Could you imagine me with dreads? I'm not going there. Joshua takes Maya off life support as Howell and her forces arrive. They are killed by Heron, who tells Joshua Nomad must be destroyed in order for the war to end. This was a good scene, I felt. But they just glaze over it here.
Yep. It's only it's really I feel like that's the end of the second act. And
That should be the end of the movie.
yeah. But
They could have ended it right.
they could have. Yep.
Who cares about the other stuff that happens?
The nomad thing, and I think this is where it starts. Yeah, this is where it
This
starts.
is the second movie.
Yeah, and it wasn't very.
You
know what?
This looks like it's the sequel. This part going forward is the sequel to the previous part. They just
Yeah, that's how
rammed
the
it
movie
together. They rammed it together.
Speaking of robots, I'd ram together.
That sex bot earlier, but she didn't have big enough tits for you.
That's all right. You can get them inflated.
Oh yeah,
Just get the
And just pump it. You're gonna pump it anyway.
double E upgrade.
Imagine you have a sex bot and you have to pump their. That'd suck. I mean, blow. Joshua and Alfie are captured by U.S. forces and taken to Los Angeles, where Joshua is forced to kill Alfie with an electroshock weapon. However, Andrews later discovers this to be a ruse, and the pair escape before Alfie can be incinerated. Yeah, exactly. This should be the start of the first movie.
Yeah,
the second movie.
This kind of felt like when the show they try to do all, and I get it. Like they weren't fooling anybody to think that he actually killed her. But I was like, oh, come on, man, just hurry this part up because you know where it's going. Like, just hurry up.
Boarding a lunar shuttle at the Los Angeles Interplanetary Air and Spaceport, or LASP.
Okay.
LASP.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Lice.
LASP.
Welcome to Lice.
You have the AI read it?
You have that shitty TikTok voice. Read it. Welcome to the Los Angeles Interplanetary Air and Spaceport.
Or LASP.
Oh my God. OMG.
Alfie forces the spacecraft to land aboard Nomad, just as Andrews orders a large-scale assault on remaining AI bases across the globe.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Joshua plants a timed explosive while Alfie disables the ship's power.
Now, this is where, like, I feel like a massive $1 trillion floating space station would have more than like 3 people on it.
Well, there's a lot of people. They're just in one area.
And you're
They're
like,
just in that
you
room,
don't have any
that
security
battle station.
that anyone would do something like this?
No, because you have to get up there first, and no one expects you to just take a ship and control it into the
Sure.
big ship.
I don't buy that for a second. I think it would be, especially America, it would be covered in security.
Oh, yeah. But this is a movie. So
I don't believe that.
This is when it becomes more Mission Impossible, where he just likes to do the big stunts. So he climbs the outside and
cunning stunts.
kind of a lingual, a cunning lingual.
It's fun to hear you kind of step through it.
Nope. Alfie forces the spacecraft to. Oh, it said that.
You already said that.
I'm just going to say it again. Alfie forces the spacecraft to land aboard Nomad just as Andrews orders a large-scale assault on the remaining AI bases across the globe. Joshua plants a timed explosive while Alfie disables the ship's power. Before Joshua can arrive at the escape pod, Andrews activates a tentacled robot that prevents him from entering, and Joshua is forced to eject the vehicle with Alfie in it.
Dumb.
That was so dumb.
Yeah. This was, once it starts throwing tentacles around, I'm like, man, fuck off.
Okay, it was cool looking, but then when it's going after Alfie and Alfie just doesn't turn around and go.
Yep. Also, what would this tentacle monster possibly do? Like, what is the purpose?
Rip the person apart.
No. But what is its purpose on Nomad? What does it do? What's its job?
I'm sure it has something.
What?
Maybe it tends to. Maybe it's a. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. What are you gonna have a tentacle monster for?
To fix the ship.
Sure.
Go out and fix the outside
It'd be like
of the
the
ship.
fucking octopus from Roger Rabbit that's handing out drinks to people. No, once the tentacle monster showed up, I was like, this is getting to stupid territory. And then I think I turned to you. I was like, why the fuck doesn't Alfie just go woo and shut it down?
Yeah. I think that's what everyone's thinking. They're expecting it. Like, how does he get around? How did they get around? Like, how does this robot just not? It starts activating. The kid sees it.
Not to mention, there's Nimrod flying out in the sky. Alfie could just go, and Nimrod would fall.
It doesn't have that much power yet.
Oh, of course not.
So my question is,
That's fucking convenient.
is the reason it's because it's a bigger robot that it can't do it yet? Like, it just doesn't have enough power to do.
Then why didn't it
turn
show her
off?
trying and it didn't work?
It didn't. Yeah.
Fuck.
It's an AI. It knows that if it tries, it will
Yeah,
fail.
you know who doesn't know? The audience.
Yeah. It would have been simple just to say, just to be like, I can stop you, and then it doesn't work.
I can't do it. Yeah.
Or
It'll take fucking 5 seconds to film that shot.
break its hand.
Yeah, there you snap its fucking hand off.
All your electronics are in your hand. That would be awful. As Nomad explodes, halting the strike, Joshua, they didn't say anything about the fact that he was on the exterior of the ship.
No.
And for nothing, really.
And
But why did he go to the exterior of the ship?
That's what I don't get. He wants to put a bomb on one of the missiles. But why would you put a bomb on the missile? Why wouldn't you put a bomb on the fucking missile loading apparatus so no missiles can go?
No, he's not trying to disable the ship's missile launcher. He's trying to disable the ship. So he wants the bomb to go off on the big nuke thing.
But that's even worse.
Explode on the ship.
Because when that missile goes down, the bomb
Well,
is
the
shot
hope
away.
is that it would stop before then, and you could use that missile as a bomb against Nomad.
Or you could just put it on a part of the ship that's never going to run away.
Yeah, the core or something.
Stupid. This is when I'm
on the tentacled monster.
This is getting dumb. As soon as it hit the tentacle monster, as soon as this last act showed up, I'm like, okay, we're starting to see our. And what I'm hoping is Gareth Edwards had because he wrote this movie too, had a much different idea as to how to end it, and studio interference came in and said, no, it's got to be this way.
This ending is just so.
It doesn't match any of the rest of the intelligence of the rest of the movie.
It doesn't. It just goes into weird like. After the or during the explosion, it goes into a weird territory of like, it's like
action hero movie
Well,
stuff.
not even that. It's like fantasy heaven and hell type idea. I don't give shits. It's just we're getting.
Don't give shits.
I don't. Well, not right now.
Gross.
Once a day.
Because it'll hurt your back.
It might. I got to push, you know.
You can't bend. You got to stand up perfectly straight.
And it's better if you're bending and you have like if you have a
That's what
squatty
they say.
potty, squatty
They
potty.
say to get a little like a stool or like the yoga bar things that you can put your feet on. Yeah. I'm gonna buy one and let you know
Specifically, a squatty,
what it's like.
a squatty potty.
I'm not gonna buy something called a squatty potty.
You put your feet on it. What scares me is you go to Value Village and you see squatty potties sometimes, and you're like, I know
Someone
where
else
that's
has gotten
been.
rid of.
I know where that's been. Why would I buy that?
It's like I can bleach it first.
My goodness. It's like there's some things at Value Village, or sorry,
Value Village.
what are Value Village?
Yeah, Value Village Estates. Goodwills.
Yeah, but what are they? What is that type
Oh,
of
a thrift
business?
store.
Thrift store. Stuff at the thrift store that you just not gonna know. It's like
The underwears.
plungers.
Bras.
Yeah, there's underwears, jock straps, and not that I'm looking.
A lot of the creepiest thing is when you go there and there's lingerie, because I like because my wife will shop at the thrift shops and
For lingerie.
I'll look for like books and toys. And that's about it.
Yeah,
And so then I'm bored, and so I'm just following her around. And when you look at like the lingerie, it tells a story of someone's life. Because when you can find like the like extra small lingerie, and there's like one or two pieces of extra small lingerie, and then as it goes like to small, medium, large, extra large, double extra large, there's a whole ton of it. You can basically see like the marriage as it went from they were young and they were both skinny, and then they didn't have a lot of time, for sex anymore, but she still tried. She was still putting effort in. And as I get older, he was like, oh, I'm going to keep on buying her lingerie, to try to keep the marriage alive, try to keep the spark alive. And then she got bigger. She was like, all right, this is my one last ditch effort to try to keep our marriage alive. And then they get divorced. So you can see the whole lifeline of a marriage through the lingerie. This is what I'm coming up with while I'm standing there at Value Village. Like, nothing else to do.
you know these things are from different people, right?
No, they aren't. It's all one person.
You're just
I
like,
got rid of
there's
it all.
a lot
and
of
then they got divorced, and then they were like, "Fuck it, I'm getting rid of all my lingerie."
There's a lot of extra large anything here. It's all from the same
From one
person.
person. It
No,
certainly
no.
could be. It is.
Everything's from different people,
No, it's not.
mostly.
No, it is not.
And then a lot of the clothes that are given to Value Village are taken elsewhere and donated in a different way.
Wow. They should donate some lingerie. I know there's lots of homeless people who would like, you know what I want to look? I want to look at lingerie.
It'll keep me warm. As Nomad explodes, halting the strike, Joshua reunites with a simulant bearing Maya's likeness, who Alfie had activated using a memory chip containing information Joshua had downloaded from Maya when he took her off life support.
This was dumb. So
And shares a final embrace and kisses her.
the whole Maya thing was stupid. I don't get why they needed to do that. Because it has no payoff. He already saw Maya and said goodbye to her when she died, right? So now,
Well, she wasn't active.
right? But what the fuck is this Maya going to say? Oh, hey, well, bye. We're dying.
It's a little different to actually get that one last chance with someone you never got that one last chance.
I don't
with.
think it needs to be there. It's a sellout of the character. It's pointless. It has no, in my opinion, no reason for existing, and does nothing to the overall plot and does nothing for either of those characters. But the other thing that bothered me the most, and I turned to you and I said it, was so he's like, him and Alfie, like, we've got to save everyone. We got to save everyone. So we got to get rid of Nomad. So they destroy Nomad when Nomad is very close to the village that they're going to be shooting the missiles on. So Nomad is going to drop out of the sky and crush the people underneath them.
But they said that that's worth it. They
okay.
made mention of it in the thing where it's like, if that thing crashes down and hurts people, then fine. But it's like, it's a overall victory. It's like,
I guess just that. I was like,
what's
that
the
doesn't make a lot
term
of sense.
in war where it's like
Acceptable losses.
Yeah,
or
it's-
I know
but
what you mean. Casualties.
something casualty?
Yeah, something casualties.
Executive? No.
Yep, executive casualties.
Let's just call
That's
it
where they
that.
murder all the people in a boardroom.
Yeah. Well, now that's how it works.
Yep, I watched RoboCop. I know.
On Earth, Alfie lands safely in New Asia and witnesses its people celebrating the nomad's destruction while these people are celebrating while there's so much death. It's like if the current war was happening and people are some people are actually.
I was going to say some people are.
And that's the movie.
I think it's acceptable losses.
No,
That's
it was definitely something else. Something casualties. I'm sure of it.
Casual casualties. That's where it's okay. They're dead. It's fine if they die.
Hey Google, what's another word for acceptable casualties? Sorry, I don't
See,
understand.
yours is dumb. At least mine upstairs understands shit. The point is, you should watch this movie at least once. I'd say once. The last act will leave a bad taste in your mouth,
Yeah.
but at least
Kind
you'll
of
be
like the show.
at least you'll be like, hey, that was interesting. And it wasn't 100% original, but it was, I didn't have to fucking prepare and read an essay or a comic
It's
book
like you
or
go
20
into a
TV
Marvel
shows
movie.
before watching it.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't take Marvel movies anymore. I become so bitter towards them that I'm like, it all ended with Endgame. That's it.
Are you
Nothing
going to
else
give
happened.
them another chance when everything resets?
I don't think so.
Because everything will reset and we're going to get the X-Men. We're going to get the new X-Men.
X-Men
the
I
new
might give a try.
Fantastic Four will be first.
But I feel like the whole Marvel family, like Fantastic Four and the Avengers, and especially these terrible Marvels, I don't give a shit about any of that. I feel like for me, it all ended with Endgame. But I never saw an X-Men outside of the cartoon and the Bryan Singer movies. So I'll watch X-Men movies.
Fantastic Four.
I've already watched the Fantastic Four
Yeah,
like
that
three
was-
fucking times. They
That
all
was awful.
sucked.
Yeah, I think
Hey.
they're gonna skip the origin story and just go straight into it.
should, 'cause
and
they
just be
stink.
like, you know it, or just go read the fucking comic
Read the
book.
comic. Yep.
We can just start off and
I don't know.
But I would love them to do the Galactus storyline.
That'd be cool. But I'm
Silver Surfer
the
again.
whole Kang and Secret Wars and blah blah blah. Don't care. And it's, you know what, what would really suck is if they're good movies, because I can't find it in me to care. Like Loki and the Marvels and all the Miss Marvel and all these TV shows. I just don't give a shit. I don't care enough. You know, I'm not interested. At least with Star Wars and Ahsoka, and I said we were going to come back to Ahsoka. I have a vested interest because I enjoy these Star Wars characters and I enjoy the whole mythos of Star Wars and
You're
you know,
a
the mythos of the
huge
Jedi
Star
and
Wars
stuff.
fan, yeah.
That's right. I like some parts of Ahsoka. Did not like some other parts of Ahsoka. I feel like it ended on a wet fart.
I plan to watch it eventually. I
Yeah,
swear.
but I do call it Star Wars greatest hits because that's really what it is. Hey, remember this? Hey, remember this? Hey, remember this? That's really all they are. You know,
I'm just gonna be like, I don't remember.
oh, you'll remember a lot of it, and you'll be like,
Okay.
oh yeah, oh
That's
yeah.
good.
But some of it is fantastic, and some of it is not.
Going back to this movie,
How many creators do you give this out of 10?
one big crater at the end.
That's what the Nomad did.
Yeah. Out of 10. Jeez. I honestly,
Out of 10 sex bots,
to
how many
me,
sex bots
it's
do you
one of
give it?
those forgettable movies like Dune.
I'm gonna kill that. There's a fucking. One thing I hate about this season is fruit flies are just on the way out. I'm like, the sons of a bitches. You always find them everywhere.
I didn't like Dune, and my wife really liked it,
I enjoyed doing it.
and other people really like it, and I'm just like the one person who fought
Dune.
fought through the movie because I was bored out of my mind and thought it was so slow to get to the good parts.
Ridiculous.
The fight scenes were fun.
The second movie is basically all a big fight scene.
Anyway, 5 out of 10.
I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Should have been better, but Gareth Edwards, I have faith that his next movie will be good.
The Creator 2.
Creator 2.
The Crater.
The
2.
Creatoring.
Krang.
Krang. That's what we'll show over the
From
second
Dimension X.
one. I'm going to end the show now. thank you, everyone. We're sorry you've been watching Watch It Complain. You can follow us on YouTube and Instagram and Threads, and I think that's all of them. Is there any more? No, and Facebook. Do you have something on Facebook?
The Bay in Places.
And the Bay in Place.
Facebook. Reddit.
YouTube. YouTube. And the website.
I don't update Twitter anymore because I think that's
it's not called Twitter. It's called X. So go to YouTube and find us on YouTube. And watch our videos and like and subscribe and ask us questions.